this is our demo site. You'll see we've got a branded version of that as well. And if you've got a login, you'll be able to log in using your username and password as you would with any sort of system. If I just minimize the left panel, just to show you the two solutions that we have in one. And as the user, which I'm logged in as now, you would only see whichever one you're licensed for, so it's not going to be confusing for anyone. So essentially we've got the My Transfers. This is the peer-to-peer with expiring the shares, which is the container-based solution. But for now, if I just go ahead and create a new transfer and just show you what it's like from both the sender's perspective and the user's perspective when they actually receive the email and they're able to then download the data that's been attached. So in here, in the to field box, this list actually is made up, in my case, of an address book that I've been given access to, but also the list builds as you start sending to more and more contacts. You can manage that as well through your profile. So if I just add a new contact in here to send information to, if I personally haven't sent to them before, it does tag it with an invite tag, and also I'll just select a current contact from the list here as well. And the key point here with the subject and notes is that this information, although we are in an encrypted session, is classified as insecure data. And the reason being is that the subject and notes form part of the email notification that's sent out to the users. So this will display as the email subject. So in here, we say be descriptive, but don't necessarily include any sensitive information. So we can add a reference or any of the subjects in there and just address it to the right person. And for any sensitive information that you wish to attach or send, maybe personal identifiable information outside of the attachment, this is what the secure notes option is for. It's fully encrypted and it allows you to type this information in, and it's only accessible once the recipients have authenticated to the system. So for argument's sake, if you're still insistent on password protecting files, you don't need to, but a good process would be you'd pop your password in here and it saves you having to send maybe an additional email with that password, which, as you know, is insecure, but also maybe putting a phone call in to those recipients and telling them the password over the phone. So it just skips out that extra step. So step 2 is around uploading the files. The solution itself, unless you impose them, doesn't have any file type or file size restrictions. We have a unique upload engine in the browser, without being too technical, but it gets around having to install any plugins, both on the user side and recipient side, and we see this as being a massive benefit, especially with the control from a central IT point of view. Obviously, you don't want to be receiving calls all the time when someone's not able really to install a plugin properly. So yeah, it's very simple to manage, very intuitive. And on the left side, you see some options around being able to restrict how many files could be uploaded to a single transfer, the maximum transfer size and file size as well. Again, these are imposed by your administrator through what we call the file transfer policies. But for now, if I just go ahead and upload some files, just grab a couple of files here. And what we're doing here is chunking the data into configurable pieces, and it gets around any browser limitations. This is all caught in the audit along the process as well. So if I deleted a file or uploaded new files, they'll all be in the not only the sender's audit, but also the central audit of the solution. So next, or step 3, so we've got some further options around managing the transfer. So the expiry date by default will be set to, again, whatever's set at the policy level. In my case, it's set to 14 days from now. And there's also something called a maximum expiry, which again prevents the users from being able to set this any longer than obviously the 30 days that's set here. And what the expiry does is just control the retention of the data and the transfer. So once it hits that expiry, all of the users, recipients, all of the files are securely revoked access, but also deleted from the platform. So access options, we have 3. Again, these can be filtered out to make it simple, but login essentially will, in all cases, you'll receive an email with a download button, but once the recipient clicks on that download button, it would then depend on which access option has been selected by the sender. So it depends on which one is available, basically. So login would essentially force them to create an account if they don't already have one. If they do have one, it would just prompt them to log into the system. Open link is really more for brochures, less sensitive information. Once you click that download button, you're taken straight into the platform without any sort of typed authentication like the login or token. And token is a bit of a mixture between the two. So you're taken to a secure web page, you request a token, which is then additionally emailed through to you as a second layer of security, and then you're able to copy and paste that into the secure token window. For the purpose of this, I'll just show you login. We do have another module called File Access Restrictions. This is our DRM module, which is Digital Rights Management. And all it is a way of restricting how users can interact with the files that you've attached. So for supported file types, in any case, they can be viewed or downloaded from the system, viewed inline with the inline browser and viewer. And some of the options available allow you to restrict whether they can or can't download those files and forcibly view them within the viewer that we've made available. And also removing some of the options in the viewer around being able to print and download files is key as well with DRM. Finally, some of the options here are referring to the email notification. So whether you're notified when a transfer is read, when someone's downloaded a file for the first time, or when the transfer has expired. These can be set either by your administrator or by yourself in your own profile, but you can also toggle them on and off as well as necessary. So just go ahead and hit send. Immediately I'm taken to my sent items where I can manage anything else that I have sent during the sort of expiry period. Anything that does expire is then removed from my sent items, although it is still auditable from a central management point of view for a configurable amount of time. So don't worry, once it has been removed from the sender side, you can then report on it as an administrator later on. We do also have an archive option, which you can enable on an individual level. So once something is removed or deleted automatically from the sent items, it does go into the archive, again for a configurable period on the user's side as well. So that's kind of sending. What I'll do is if I just sign out, I'll show you then the recipient side, so what they see and how they interact with the file transfer. So now I'm the recipient, I've received the email, you notice it's branded, and I can just hit the download files button. This recognizes that login has been used as the authentication option and that I'm a new user to the system. So now it's telling me that it's going to send me an additional email just to verify who I am. And what that does, it just prevents someone from being able to forward on that email yeah, essentially try and access the file transfer without being the original recipient. So I've received the additional email to register. And this is a one-time only process, so it's not, it's very intuitive, easy to use, it's not clunky. Once they've done this initial registration, they'll just be prompted to log in each and every time you send them a new transfer. So we'll agree to the T's and C's, hit register, and that now allows me to log in with that account that I've just created. And here is my transfer. Just to quickly cover the user licensing, so there is a pro user account, which is the business user. We also have two types of guest accounts as well. So we've got a guest sender who can receive from pros, but also send back in, which is really good. It makes it a two-way solution, and also a single guest account as well, which is more of a read-only account, so they can only actually receive information. But if I come into here, I've clicked into the message, and more importantly now we have not only who it's come from, the original message, but we have access to the secure note, which I've just highlighted on the screen, the files which were originally attached to the transfer. We can choose to download them all, which downloads them as a zip file locally to your machine. We could download them individually, which I've just done, or even view them inline as well, which loads in the inline viewer. And I didn't use DRM, but you can see now that I do have the print and download option, and just some other basic tools really to enable you to manage that document in the browser window. So if I just then log back in as the original sender of the information, and I'll just talk you through some of the options available on the sent item. And this is really where the control comes in. So imagine you sent this transfer. If you send it via email as an example, you lose all visibility and control over what you've sent, the attachments you've sent, and we're really giving you that functionality in here through the sent item. So we're giving you access to what we call the recipient view, the notes, the secure notes, and the files. The files that were actually attached, you can track each individual download and view. Also, you can recall individual files, even if they've already been downloaded. You can recall them so they're no longer available to the users. And under the Shares tab, you can see a list of who you've provided access to the transfer. More importantly, whether they viewed it, the last time they accessed it. For argument's sake, this account at the bottom hasn't yet accessed it, so you can also send them a nudge, which just sends them a little reminder email to access the information. And you can even remove or revoke access as well, again, which is in real time. Finally, we've got the Audit tab. And imagine from a user's perspective, this has given them the control, the visibility of what they've sent, who's interacted with the transfer, but this information is also available from a central point of view as well. And on the right side, just some details around the authentication option used, the total size of the transfer, and some of the alert options. You can also delete the entire transfer and also amend the expiry to suit your process as well if necessary. Great, so if I just, before I go into the file shares, just show you the Outlook plugin, just briefly, just to show you what it looks like and how it works. You could be typing a new email and convert it to an MFT message. And what we're doing here is just allowing users to stay within a familiar interface and not really have any further training on a newer platform, which sort of breeds the higher adoption really of the solution. But for argument's sake, if I just put in a new recipient in here and a subject, just like you're typing a normal email, we have options up here for large attachment, which bypasses any local settings, preventing you from uploading large files. And what this does to do that is upload little bite-sized files to get around those restrictions. You can attach folders as well, which you can't do in normal email, and that just zips up the contents of an entire folder. And then we're giving you the panel on the right, so you've still got control over the authentication options that your profile's been given access to, the expiry date and the secure notes as well. And it's just a case of hitting send, and then if you think about it, the files aren't then uploaded via your email, it's bypassed and uploaded securely to our secure file transfer platform. Okay, so file shares. As I mentioned before, these are the secure containers in the cloud, more collaborative. But if I just go ahead and create a new one, and we just call it contracts, and what this allows me to do is upload new folders or create new folders and upload files. It's worth mentioning that in the desktop app, we do support full folder uploads as well. So if you've got a hierarchy of folders, no matter how deep those go within Windows, you can drag and drop those through the desktop app, and that will create that entire folder structure in the cloud for you. It's sort of a live view through the desktop app, and then you'll be able to access it from either the web interface or still continue to use the desktop app to manage that information. So we've got really cool tools around in documents, being able to, as you'd expect, rename them, view them, download them. You can even make comments in here for anyone else that has been given access. And it just comes up with a little message bubble. And also you can check out documents as well. So we've got some basic versioning in here. So once you check out, it gives you the opportunity to either download the file or re-upload a file that if you've already made those changes. So we'll just quickly show you that. And then if we view that document, not only can you view it in line, but it loads the latest version as the default document as well. And you can even go back and download and view the original documents in that sequence. Like the file transfer, we're giving you full access to an audit, again, which is for the lifetime of the share. And also you can invite users as well to make this collaborative. So we do have some roles available, but for now, if I just invite the same user that I invited through the file transfer before and make them a read-only role, what that means is that the Neil demo account will receive an email, and it will invite them onto the platform. So I'll just quickly do that. So here's my email, just to say that I've been invited. We can open the file share. I've already got the account because I created it during the login process when sending a transfer. But you'll see it's taken me straight into the share. I don't have any of the admin functions available that I had before as an owner. I'm a read-only, so what I can do by default is view and download and make comments. And also we have notifications that can be enabled as well. So you can set the frequency of these so you're not bombarded all the time with emails, and also set which notifications that you want to be email notified on as and when files are uploaded or deleted or comments made. Great, so I know I've covered that very quickly. Finally, just before I complete the presentation, if I just log in and just show you the admin interface and just some of the, sorry, just a little bit of trouble here, just some of the reporting options available. So I'm logging in as an administrator. Not only as an administrator can you view all of the activity on the system, so all sent or received transfers. You can put start and end dates in, filter by sender or recipient, and actually delve deeper into those transfers as well and actually see what the senders can see. Also, we're giving you the ability, just as an example, to view an application audit. So likewise, you can do a start and end date filter, but also you can filter on all of these different events. So whether an account's been created, group edited, added, any settings have changed, and whether a transfer policy has been added or edited as well.